Welcome to the Backlash at Backlash.com. My name is Rod Van Mecklin, and in this video I'm going to read from my 1993 article, Ogling. The full footnoted article is linked below. If ogling women who wear tight or revealing clothing is conduct of a sexual nature, it's because women who wear tight or revealing clothing are engaging in conduct of a sexual nature. Feminists respond to this, of course, by saying, nuh-uh. But when it comes to how men experience such things, feminists have or should have nothing to say on the subject. And for far too long, men have let feminists get away with dictating the male experience to us. The time for that to end is now. 1993, Bellevue, Washington. White Ribbon Campaign. Feminists are on the prowl for oglers. The Seattle Times reported that Canadian feminists of the male persuasion are out to crack down on the nefarious crime of looking at women on tropical beaches during spring break. Oh no, could it be? In an associated article that, in true feminist style, compared the murder of 14 women at the University of Montreal in 1989 to ogling, one sophomore at North Carolina State explained that a few male feminist college students are wearing plain white ribbons as a quiet symbol of their opposition to ogling because it's not quite as cool as it used to be. Huh? Cool? These must be jocks. Maybe these guys know something the rest of us don't. That all the young women who spend their spring breaks on tropical beaches are lesbians who hate the attentions of men. Actually, I don't know about that. I have known several lesbians, and they've all been pretty cool, or most of them have been pretty cool. So probably not lesbians, or perhaps the sex roles on modern campuses have reversed themselves, and women of the 90s, no, they didn't, were taking over responsibility for initiating relationships. Like that'll ever happen. Or perhaps these young men are shrewder than we think, and they know that the women's studies programs have persuaded young women that any expression of uninvited masculine interest in women is tantamount to rape or murder, and that the best way for a man to get the sexual affections of these women is to espouse the feminist parody of purity. In other words, tell these imbeciles what they want to hear, and then the guys will get laid. Power of the pointed finger. What is more likely, however, is that these misguided men have bought the feminist cow and they believe that bikini-clad heterosexual women frolicking on tropical beaches don't want men to look at them. Feminists claim sexual harassment is not about sex, but about power. They're right, sometimes. Sometimes it's about women getting power over men. They use the power of the pointed finger to harm with haughty impunity when the wrong men respond to their sexual signals. If we accept the fact, for it is a fact, that a growing number of women are learning to abuse this power of the pointed finger, then these men who wear the plain white ribbons as a quiet symbol of their opposition to ogling do all of us a big favor. For as a growing number of men heed their message, women will find, as some already have, fewer men asking them out, leaving in significant numbers only the men whose lack of sensitivity inclines them not only to ignore the warning of white ribbons, but to boorishly harass or worse as well. Kiss the best men goodbye. This is already happening, and some women complain of it creating a new hostile environment for women, complaining that the fear of sensitive men who care for and respect women and therefore treat their female co-workers and co-eds as the feminists demand, leaves their social life lacking for want of the amorous attentions of gentlemen. This could only work to our eventual good. Emphasis on the word eventual. Decades ago, feminists demanded it all. They demanded the right to promiscuity without responsibility, careers without curbs, and children without husbands. Now they decry the toxic workload of the masculine workplace, complain of men who ignore their slowly sagging implanted breasts, and demand retribution against deadbeat dads who refuse to support children they are not allowed to share. As they do, a growing number of women are turning on such feminist pundits as Gloria Steinem and demanding to know, quote, "Why didn't you tell us it would be like this?" Close quote. My 1993 prediction: girls will get wild. feminism is its own worst enemy. As their claims of injustice become more unjust, and their demands for more than equality place women upon ever higher pedestals, soon so many men will stop trying to please that the majority of women will have the choice of prostituting themselves to the richest, most desirable men, or indulging their youth in night after one-night stand night in stringless sex. But both will be followed by a prolonged and asexual middle age or lesbianism, and both will be despised by men. What's more likely, however, is that many women will become more sexually aggressive, as many aging princesses already are. But many more will demand the return of men's ogling, male initiative, and courtship. To make this day come soon, the best we can do as men is to lean close to the feminist pundits, hear too well their exhortations, and then practice with a vengeance that what they preach. For time and female self-interest are on our side. 2015, Olympia, Washington. Doug Casey famously observed that just because something is inevitable does not mean that it's imminent. Unfortunately, he was right. 22 years after I wrote this article, and here we are still dealing with the feminists and their deeply entrenched man-hating lies. The good news is that awareness is finally spreading. Men by the millions are opting out. MGTOW is spreading, and according to Martin Armstrong, a phase transition is at hand. He cautions, and by the way, that's October 1st, 2015. Weeks away. Just weeks away. Where are we? Let's see, today is September 13th. 3 weeks away. Less than 3 weeks away. Excellent. He cautions that the phase transition predicted by his computer model for the beginning of next month will affect government and sovereign debt the most, and he's optimistic about the future. Now, it's interesting to me how peppered throughout his blog posts and interviews are comments that his very long hours of work and research, as well as the years he spent behind bars for contempt of court, have left no time for a wife. Is Martin Armstrong MGTOW? I don't know yet whether Armstrong is a charlatan or a hero, but his insights are interesting and his argument for how to resurrect the global and national economies is compelling. When the feathers hit the fan, the more of us who pester the White House and our representatives about implementing Armstrong's proposed solution, the sooner things could turn around, and my video about that is linked below. Meanwhile, what I strongly recommend all you guys do is to treat all the women around you like they're just people. Show no boy-girl interest in them. Don't ogle, flirt, or hook up with them. Just deal with them. The only way we can get the politicians and courts to repudiate misandry and purge feminism from our laws is for enough women to demand that they do it. And women won't do that until enough men go galt and join MGTOW. That's all for now. Check out the other videos, subscribe to the channel. For the Backlash at Backlash.com, my name is Rod Van Mechelen.